Welcome to the shop. Got the FMS Beaver 800 millimeter ready to fly. Comes with transmitter, receiver's already installed. It has stabilization, battery, charger, everything you need to get this plane up in the air. In this video, I'm going to go through the whole process, the minimal 5 seconds of assembly or so, and then I'm going to go into the details of this plane as far as getting it boot up for the first time. Well, really, every time you fly it, you're going to have to go through a process. There's a GPS unit in here, and you need to disable that. Now, you can buy this system ready to fly that has that GPS unit, or you can buy it as a plug and play. So you install your own receiver and transmitter and so on and so forth. So anyway, let me take you through the details of this plane. Then we're going to fly the heck out of it and then go through kind of and summarize everything about this plane and the pros and cons. Stick around.
Part count, pretty small. You got a fuselage and a wing for the most part. Fuselage, it painted well, good details. It's nice. The wing, same kind of thing. There's no flaps. It's just ailerons. The servos on it are those very small micro servos, no frills there. Wing attaches with that little plastic key like some of the other FMS planes. You do have to install the ailerons into that circuit board there, and they're going to go right there. So that gets plugged in and then the wing comes on. The original intent of this plane was to have a GPS unit that would give you kind of a geofence and some return to home features. Those systems do not function. So I'll go through and explain that on the transmitter, how you need to disable that before you fly. On the top of the wing, you'll notice there's a little cutout, and that's actually for an FPV unit that FMS makes. It installs on there. It's all self-contained with battery, transmitter, and video. And you have a little screen to look at, or you could send it to your analog goggles. There are two important parts of the transmitter that you need to understand, and one's on the right side, there's a 3-position switch, and the other on the left is a push button, which is going to be important for getting this thing up in the air. I'll go into that later. The system comes with a battery, 850 milliamp battery, along with a charger that you just plug the balance board in there. It takes a long time to charge, but that's just the way some of these RTF systems are. The transmitter does require you to install 4 AA batteries, not included. Let me walk you through the process of getting this thing ready to fly. First thing, you're going to press that button there. That is going to turn on the transmitter. Notice the throttle? Beeping sound is coming from that throttle. Push that down, and now you're ready for the next step. Okay, let's put a battery in this, and I'm going to go through the process. There's a GPS unit in it, but the GPS unit doesn't work, so you have to disable it. So as I plug it in and you set it down, it's going to go through, make some sounds and such. But you'll notice that the elevator will go up, and you can't move it on the transmitter. You can't do anything. You can move the ailerons, but not that. Because what's happening is it is doing a GPS search. Under that little thing is a GPS. So we have to disable that. And the way you do that is just push down on this button, that button in the upper left right there, hold it down, and all of a sudden, it takes a couple seconds, it'll then go through the dance. Elevator's normal. The ailerons are going to move around, and now you can take this thing up and fly it. There are 3 gyro settings on the transmitter switch. Stabilizer self-level mode. You see that when you move the wing, the aileron stays in the same direction. Now when we look at optimize mode, the ailerons move, but they don't stay up because they're not going to self-level. They're just kind of going to balance you out in the wind. And then you have off, which means you got nothing. Now we got that all sorted out. Let's get this plane up in the air.
Let's get this little Beaver up in the air. It's a squirrely little guy, but it is kind of fun to fly. Right now I've got it in basically optimized mode. The beeping you hear is the transmitter. Every minute makes a beep. This plane flies for about 5 minutes on a 800 milliamp 2-cell. It's a fun little plane. It looks great. I really like the look of it. And it's zippy enough to a slow pass here. The transmitter that you get is okay. It's a little sensitive. There's no expo, and there's no way of dialing down. It's kind of your standard, when I say the standard ready to fly conundrum. You get everything you need to start flying, but your transmitter is lacking a lot. They sell this in a ready to fly and a plug and play where you put your own receiver in it, which I think would be a good idea. If you already have a transmitter, would not be bad. It'll do your standard fun rolls. A little slow on the roll. If you're looking for this kind of plane, that next level, okay, this is, wouldn't necessarily recommend this for first. Maybe, I mean, we'll flip it into self-level mode, and what self-level mode does is just what you expect. It limits how much you can bank. And if you get in trouble, you hit that switch and it puts you into kind of self-level.
That panic button on the upper left of the transmitter will work in self-level, you know, in any mode.
So if you get yourself in trouble, and it levels. It's self-correcting. Okay, we're going to make a couple approaches here. Some nice slow flybys. Earl, I'm going to land. Or try. It's a little bouncy, and that little thin wheel, or narrow landing gear, on the field. Oh, you're good.
Wanted to try to get a few more landings in just because that one was horrible. It didn't go much better from there either.
Okay, let's bring her in for trying to get a landing out of her. Kind of tricky for me to land. I have a depth perception issue with her. Oh. It's odd. I'm just having a hard time with these little planes as far as adjusting to altitude, where they are in relation to altitude over the runway. All the little UMX planes I struggle with sometimes getting those smooth landings. One more try. Alright. No, too far.
Let's head back into the shop and talk about the pros and cons of this little Beaver.
Welcome back to the shop. Okay, let's go through all the things I normally like to do, you know, the parts assembly, and just highlight pros and cons. There is nothing on the assembly and parts. The parts look great. It is a really good looking plane. Assembly took 5 seconds. That's it. You know, there weren't any complaints about that. The only thing that is a bummer is the GPS unit doesn't do what, you know, it was intended to do, which was create a geofence and return to home. Doesn't function, so you have to disable it. That's the only bummer of this plane. But I think the pricing on it that they have, that makes sense. So let's talk about flight performance. From a performance, it did everything I wanted it to do. It flies slow enough. It doesn't fly super slow. It doesn't have the flaps on it, so you really can't get it super slow. But aerobatics, power, everything, it was great. If you get yourself in trouble, you've got that stabilization mode. You can hit that button, panic button, and it'll level your plane for you. It has the gyro, which works well. Frankly, in stabilization, just cranking on the rudder, you can do flat turns. I mean, it performs very, very well. Flight times are great on that little 2S battery that's included. I'd recommend getting a bunch more 2S batteries while you're at it. But from that perspective, fine. Landing, I was challenged by it. Whether, you know, the small gear, I've got a lot of excuses on why I can't land it. You know, some of you know, I have a eye situation and my right eye doesn't work so well. So sometimes depth perception on seeing how high this plane is off the runway, and it's only really little planes that I have a hard time with. UMX and things like this, struggle with. Regardless, fun plane. It's a good plane to throw in the back of the car. If you want to give it to somebody, put it in stabilization mode. It's easy to fly. So that's my take on this plane. If you have any questions or questions, leave a comment. If you like this video, hit that like button. I do appreciate it. And there's a link in the description below for this plane, as well as discount codes for this plane or most planes on the FMS store. Have a great day.